he's obviously not the attacker who eyes are on when his country is playing. That's Erling Haaland. So it will be really interesting to see if he can kind of use this tournament to stamp his mark on Norway's side as well.
Yeah, interesting to see whether he features this evening. How much are you looking forward to Norway-Senegal? Because this could be the game of the day.
I think it could be shout for game of the tournament. That's how far I'm going on it, because I'm really excited for this. What is it? It's like 1 a.m. I'm back in it tomorrow.
Bold shouts on this podcast today.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Look, I just like the fact that both of them play very fast and direct. You know, maybe they'll sit in a little bit, Senegal particularly in this, but I like how exciting they are when they're going forwards, and I think both teams will look to take that approach. Again, last week, Senegal against France, just how often they got on the counter-attack and how the amount of damage that they could do. If Nico Jackson could just stay on side, they'd be almost, they'd have 1 foot in the next round already. And then there's something about Haaland in New York as well that I'm just looking forward to. You know, his, star rising that I'm really looking forward to seeing. So yeah, I think it could be a really good watch.
I just find it so funny just looking at pictures of him as a tourist just on Times Square.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Is he just walking?
Just loads of selfies, everything. It's Erling Haaland, come on. Finally, before we go, remember all our World Cup coverage across The Athletic is completely free in our app. And today we have an interview with Ray Winston in conversation with Lee Clayton, reflecting on some of his favourite World Cup memories. Here's a sneak peek.
If you think about, when Bobby Robson was manager, you think about how close we've been to winning the World Cup. Forget about 66. When we got beat by Argentina, the hand of God, which I'd have chopped off and removed and put it in a museum somewhere. But we'd have definitely gone through it, and we'd have definitely beat Argentina.
If I say World Cup to you,
yeah,
who's the one player that springs to mind? Who's the player that stands out, who epitomises the World Cup?
Jeff Hurst. Because I am biased, I guess. 3 goals in the World Cup final.
Not Pele, Maradona.
No, I love watching them, but I'm an Englishman. To me, what inspires me is my countrymen, I guess, or my team.
Yeah.
God, I love watching Pele, and I love watching. I'd like to say Maradona, but he's upset me so much. Right, so I can't actually get the words out. Messi, you watch Messi. I mean, even at the age he's at now in the last World Cup, he was quite phenomenal.
Very glad.
First half, apart from the goal from Mbappe, as we said, and at least they will remember this day for this. This is a unique moment for we've done hundreds of games and thousands, and we thought about it earlier. Pat had one game, Deno had one game like this before. I had that one in Ukraine, and that was it. This never happened, so at least people will have a story to tell. Oh, remember that day in Philly
you know, because of his class and his talent.
Yeah.
You know, it was beautiful to watch. Yeah, going back to the day, there's millions of players you can say inspired you, but I have to say Jeff Hurst. You know, that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And if anyone inspires you, they've got to come from where you're from, because they're the people that say you got a chance in life.
Yeah, big England fan, big West Ham fan as well. He is a character, isn't he? That, of course, just a snippet. You can check out the full interview over on The Athletic. Well, both, thanks for your company today. You're going to be up all night then, watching every single game by the sounds of it.
See you bright and
That's
early.
what we love, yeah. Thanks to both of you. Thanks to Jack and to Paul as well. A reminder for you that The Athletic's coverage throughout the World Cup is completely free over on our app, so don't miss out. You can watch or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. I know I keep saying it, but we are closing in on 300,000. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We'll catch you then. Thanks for watching this episode of the Athletic FC podcast. You can watch or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Hello and welcome to the Athletic FC podcast with me, Ian Irving. The USA progressed to the knockouts even without Christian Pulisic, so just how far can Mauricio Pochettino take them? And elsewhere, there was a win for Brazil and a defeat for Scotland. So here in the studio today then, we've got the two Liams back, the Athletics Liam Toomey and Liam Tharm. I know the other day you went for surnames, but I thought we'd try middle names today maybe. So Liam Toomey, what is your middle name?
Is this where we find out we've got the same middle name?
What's your middle name?
John.
David.
Okay.
Close,
John and
though.
David.
That's
Very
not too far
close.
apart, yeah.
Similar genre.
Yeah, similar, anglicised, yeah.
Got to be
it's
like
all
a
good.
Brazilian player or something, a John David or something, one of like the Latam names.
I mean, there's a Canadian striker that's pretty close
Well,
to
yeah,
that, to be
that's
fair.
true. That's
Then
true.
they do like be Liam Al for Big Liam and Liaminho for Little Liam.
That would work in the Brazilian
It
sense.
could do, but it implies that one of us is bigger than I don't think.
I
that's-
don't really want to make that decision
No,
either.
I
So
think maybe, yeah.
we'll just do
Surnames is
Liam
fine.
Toomey and Liam Tharm.
Yeah, that's all
I'll
good.
just look at you when I want to ask you a question. Okay, we've established that anyway, so that's good. Day 9 then. Scotland lose 1-0 to Morocco. Brazil beat Haiti 3-0. Paraguay overcome Turkey 1-0 despite having Miguel Almiron sent off for covering his mouth. So there's the start of that genre as well. And Haiti and Turkey, of course, eliminated from the competition after their results too. But let's start with the US MNT, who dominated in their 2-0 win over Australia in Seattle for the Athletic, was Henry Bushnell.
So much of the build-up to this game centered around Christian Pulisic. Will he play? Won't he play? How's his calf doing? What might the U.S. do if he can't play? And then we got here to Lumen Field, and the stadium filled with passion, with red, white, and blue, and 11 players took to the field, and Christian Pulisic was not one of them, and it just didn't matter, because the U.S. had 6, 7, maybe 8 players who were better than anybody on the field for Australia. They were the 6, 7, or 8 best players on the pitch on Friday, and they toyed with Australia at times. And they weren't head and shoulders above them. They weren't dominant like they were against Paraguay, but they were good enough to be clearly better. They were deserving winners. And now people are dreaming, just like they were after the game against Paraguay, but now with even more evidence. We're talking about, can this team not just win a knockout game, but it's, can they get to the quarterfinals? Can they get to the semifinals? Heck, can they win the World Cup? And the answer, of course, to the question of can they is yes. Will they? Probably not still. We're still a very long way away from that. The two teams they played so far are nowhere near the level of teams they're going to have to face probably in a round of 16, quarterfinal, etc. But this team is rolling. They're looking better than ever under Mauricio Pochettino. Finally, at the exact moment when it had to all come together, it has come together. And we're seeing the best of this team right now.
Hi guys, we're only weeks away from the big game and I'm staying with Hilton in Dallas. Looks like Hilton.
Star players have stepped up, and in that department tonight we get to enjoy Haaland and Ødegaard for Norway and Sadio Mane for Senegal. Norway in the black, and every reason to anticipate an entertaining game here.
Well, you would think so. I mean, Norway obviously a great start to the tournament. Mentioned the top players firing, Haaland, a couple of goals. But again, I looked at Senegal opening game and I mentioned it, probably even the first hour, John, I thought they did really, really well. Jackson particularly looking dangerous.
This is Julian Riasson with the throw. dribbles out of play for a subsequent corner. As Malik Diouf patrolling the left flank, the West Ham man. And positioning himself in close proximity to Edouard Mendy, the goalkeeper. Ødegaard across to orchestrate the corner. One of his right-wing corners led to a goal in Norway's victory over Iraq in the first game. Was delivered to the near post, as is that one. Came out to Nusa, and it took a deflection en route, and that's going to be another corner.
Well, no shortage of confidence there from the 21-year-old.
Flicking off the top of Koulibaly's head. 2 days beyond his 35th birthday, the formidable Kalidou Koulibaly. Ødegaard again. And that one was arrowing towards Ayer, and it'll be a near-side corner this time.
Yeah, first one was shorter, wasn't it? Second one, he went a little bit deeper, looking for Ayer. Diouf does well.
Of course, Ødegaard gets to watch Bukayo Saka delivering these corners on a regular basis with his club team.
Well, look, they've actually got a similar setup with the men at the back post as Arsenal.
So who is Norway's Gabriel?
Yeah, they go back in, just have a look at them there, John. They're starting back and then they come to the penalty spot.
Precisely that. And Mendy with the save on the line. Flag is up on the far side. Edouard Mendy excelling himself. The close-range header. Ayer looks to the skies as if to say, how on earth did he keep that out?
Well, I've got no idea. Is it both legs? Ayer does well, just directs it downwards. He does, and he kicks it away. It's a great save. A great save, really is.
But it's a fourth consecutive corner for Norway. Riasson with it. And Senegal being given a thorough going over with early set pieces here, but now they can break the other way. But the flag is up against Nicholas Jackson.
Spared him his blushes, he took a terrible touch. This ball coming across is very tight. There's the save again. Kind of stops it with his right leg and kicks it away with his left.
I mean, it wouldn't win many prizes for
well,
elegance, but who cares about
correct. The most important thing's the net's not bulging.
And Nilan, the Norwegian goalkeeper. Haaland. Jatta's header.
A great strength there. I think that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. That's going to be a good tussle. Those two centre-backs and the big fella, looking forward to that.
This is Hegem. Norway have always had good players, Ali, but I don't think they've ever had as many in the same team as they have now.
But except that, I mean, we'll get into the stats later, but their record in competitive matches is fabulous at the moment. What a run they're on.
Don't let me hinder you, please, stat away.
I don't want to go too early. I don't want to go too early.
It's never hindered you before, that thought, has it? Do I have to step into the breach?
No, I've got them written down in front of me. Just give me 2 seconds, please.
Here's Jackson. Idrissa Gueye. Has it back from Ismaila Sarr. Pitch has had its share of criticism, and it does look a little patchy from up on high. Normally it's an artificial surface here for the NFL games that are played by the Giants and the Jets. Mane. Ismail Assar. It's a testing ball in.
Good strong hand, the goalkeeper, Neelan. Sarr does well, just gets his half yard, whips it across, pace. Goalkeeper does enough.
Norwegian fans have been out in their hordes, particularly across the Hudson in New York City. They took over Times Square earlier today.
Hell yeah. I saw plenty of in the city earlier on, John.
And of course, they've already been to Boston, where they've given your countrymen a run for their money in terms of being the favourite visitors. I think you probably won that battle.
Don't get carried away now, they did okay.
Niakate. Diouf. Pat Gay, who chases it for all it's worth.
He did really well. Pearson not happy, but he put him under a lot of pressure there. Didn't give up in a lost cause. Gets his side of throw-in. I think this is a really difficult game to call, predict. There you go.
Well, it's funny you saying that, because you told me you thought that Senegal would probably win it.
And I'll stand by it. But I still think it's a difficult one to call.
Trezeguet's shot blocked. Sørloth.
Great touch as well for Sørloth.
Run back briefly by Camera. Here's Noosa though. And sold Sørloth a tad short with the pass.
Yeah.
Been Diatta. A free kick for Senegal.
Claiming he won the ball, I'm not so sure. I thought the referee was just a little bit overzealous opening game.
A little bit.
Big bit. Yeah.
Probably 2 of the 3 red cards too zealous.
Correct. Correct.
It's in by Camera. Retrieved by Idrissa Gueye. Mane.
Many times we see him doing that for Liverpool. Coming off that left-hand side.
Pat Gay.
What a switch. Disappointing. Singing his praises 2 seconds ago, he didn't do the switch of play justice there at all.
Thiaw came in to replace Aliou Cissé 18 months ago. Senegal are represented here. There is an area of New York City called Little Senegal. It's out in Harlem. And I think most of it is emptied across the Hudson to New Jersey this evening.
What a beautiful touch. Goalkeeper fired one at him there. Gay took a lovely touch.
Jetta for Ismail Assar, who is offside. And you've got a perplexed look on your face.
Well, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you know, he probably is offside, but he's offside now, he's still offside. He's continuing to be offside, and we still never saw the flag. That's my point, and the reason for the perplexed look.
Activity on the Norway bench already involving Marcus Holmgren Pedersen.
Looks as though they've got an injury straight away, John.
It does.
Yeah.
And it is Ryerson who has got the problem. The Dortmund man departs, clutching his hamstring periodically, with just 12 minutes on the clock. Pedersen plays for Torino and is a specialist right back. That's also one of the corner takers off the field now for Norway.
Yep. Now you've got to feel for him, haven't you? 10 minutes or so into the second game.
And if it is a hamstring,
well,
the recovery time is
yeah.
just not compliant with a tournament with gaps such as this one.
Correct.
David Müller-Wolfer. Ødegaard. This is Sørloth with the substitute Pedersen outside him. Pedersen's first touch, and it set up a chance for the skipper, Ødegaard, who skips away in disappointment.
Everything about it, apart from the finish, is beautiful. The weighted pass, the overlap, Pedersen's cut back. Watch the timing of this pass. It's excellent. Centre-back plays him onside. The momentum from Pedersen takes him by the defender, cuts it back. And he's just leaning back, isn't he? And he shouldn't be. Best move so far.
From Senegal.
Very tidy. Look at his right-hand side.
Stationed there is Sarr. Jetta.
He tried to go outside Müller-Wolfer, didn't he? And he probably should have.
And this time, Senegal making more meaningful inroads to the extent of winning a corner.
Well, both teams have good passages of play, good moments in the early stages.
Partey and Koulibaly could be brought to bear here. It's Diouf. And it's going to defeat everyone. Malik Diouf, bringing back memories of the 2002 team at the World Cup in which Pat Thiaw played, and of course El Hadj Diouf, of whom you had experience.
What a boy he was. What a boy he was, let me tell you.
Well, it is now 1:15 in the morning in the UK, so you probably can tell us, actually, yes.
One of Walter's, I'll tell you what, successful signings, but I didn't have it on the radar when he told me we were going for him.
In your days as assistant manager at Rangers.
Correct.
Forward it goes for Jackson. Jackson takes it down really neatly.
Could he hit it first time? Could he have kept it going?
Idrissa Gueye. Jackson again. Mane. Camara. Jatta. Sloppy touch by Niakate.
He got away with it, didn't he? Just a lack of concentration. Well, we're going to look at that chance from Jackson. I'm just, when it came into him, the way he's running, he has to go away from goal. So I'm just wondering, could he have flicked it on, kept it going?
Did you say all that you wanted to say about El Hadj Diouf? Because I think there's a few people at home thinking that they'd quite like to hear a little bit more.
Let me tell you, I haven't even started. I haven't even started.
Well, apart from his time at Rangers, of course, he played for Liverpool and Sunderland and Bolton, and then to everybody's surprise, after his retirement as a footballer, he became a goodwill ambassador for the Senegalese government.
I want to say he was African Player of the Year for 2 years, you know. I'm sure he was.
All right.
Oh, he could play, don't worry about that.
Here's Haaland. Nusa. It's Müller-Wolfer. Koulibaly. Senegal just suffered a little dip in form ahead of the tournament. They'd won 7 games in a row. They were unbeaten in 10. Then they had a win and a loss and a draw in their warm-up friendlies, and obviously lost their opening game here.
Well, might as well. You've given me the opportunity to tell you about Norway. Since a 5-1 defeat with Austria back in October 24, I think they're undefeated in 11 competitive games. Remarkable. 50-odd goals for. And what is it, 11 against or something? So they're in great form.
Just undefeated in 11, but they've won the lot.
Yeah. Which is the record, you'd have to say, John, you'd expect from, not being disrespectful in any way to Norway, one of the more prolific nations, you know, a Brazil or an England or a Germany or something like that. So it's remarkable.
Sadio Mane
holds off a defender really well.
Camara. attempted cross that was blocked.
Makes a great run and takes a poor touch. He'll be disappointed. Lovely blind run in behind the fullback.
Niakate, just a little bit too much on it. It's Jetta. Pedersen. Goal kick. The other end of the stadium from Martin Ødegaard. The Norwegians are in full flow. And given the prevailing weather conditions, they may need those skills a little later to get back to their hotels.
I like it.
It is one of the great sights, isn't it? Up there with the Icelandic thunderclap.
Yeah.
And that takes us nicely and neatly to the first hydration break. Don't forget, you could win £75,000 and a trip for two to New York to watch the FIFA World Cup final on the 19th of July. A single entry by text or online costs £2.50 plus your standard rate message for text. Entries close at 10 a.m. on Monday the 6th of July. Post closes 12 p.m. Thursday the 9th of July. Entrance must be 21 or over. Visit the website or scan the QR code for full entry details. And in terms of upcoming football on ITV, if you fancy a really late one, we've got Jordan-Algeria following this at 4 a.m. on ITV1 and STV. That's live from San Francisco. And tomorrow we've got Portugal. Can they finally kickstart their campaign? Will Cristiano Ronaldo start again? They're playing Uzbekistan in Houston, 5 p.m, ITV1 and STV. And in terms of this game here, that's the one outstanding chance.
Yeah, that's a good save. Mentioned it again. Christopher Ryder does really well. Just glances ahead, keeps it down. Mendy, to be fair, stops it with his right leg, clears it with his left. It's a good save. What a chance this is. Pedersen does really well in the overlap, and Ødegaard, who you would, let's be honest, you'd expect a lot better from. You can see his frustration, leaning back, gets it wrong, chance.
And on balance, who's edging it?
Probably Norway, just. Probably. Well, the two chances, John, I would say, the header, obvious from Christopher Ryder, and Martin Ødegaard's chance there on the cutback from Pedersen. They're probably the better chances. That said, Senegal have played some nice football, got themselves in good forward areas. Game's been very open, it's been enjoyable.
What have you made of the pitch, out of interest? Because this is the one playing surface that's been used that's been roundly criticised.
Well, you're right, there's patches in it where it doesn't look, you know, it looks kind of brown rather than green. Very, very difficult to give you an opinion on it, John, when we're this far away from it and haven't seen it. But all you can say is, yes, it looks a little bit patchy.
When you say this far away from it, that shot gives you a good idea of just how far away. You see those white seats under the FIFA World Cup sign? That's where we are. And it's like being on the surface of the moon. It's strange. As a foreigner coming into this stadium, it seems to have everything you'd want. It's spectacularly big and bold and cavernous, and it's got atmosphere, and yet NFL fans really dislike it.
It's funny that, it's strange. And I don't know whether, is it maybe the part of the location as well, maybe perhaps, because we were in the Dallas Stadium, which we both enjoyed, and there was a good atmosphere in it, and it seemed a little bit of a better atmosphere within the stadium. I don't know whether it's location, something to do with it, John.
East Rutherford, New Jersey is no Kensington, put it that way. So back underway, with Norway having had the standout opportunity of this game so far. Niakate. Pedersen, Ødegaard. Sørloth, Tedderson. Very calmly done by the right-back Jatta.
Wasn't it just? Good awareness of where people were around him there.
You can hear behind us the noise of the Senegalese supporters' drums, the djembe. Managed to smuggle a few of them in. And it's adding a level of authenticity to the atmosphere. Slightly awkward by Aya, and it bounced favourably for Jackson, and here's Mane. And again, Nicholas Jackson.
He lost it in the air, Aya. I don't know whether it was a floodlight or what it was, but he loses it in the air. Ends up knocking it back towards his own goal. Referee's angle. Curl on it, but too high.
Haaland, Ødegaard, Alexander Sørloth. This used to be Giant Stadium. In fact, where the pitch is now was the parking lot of Giant Stadium, which was a venue in the 1994 World Cup, and Norway played here twice against Ireland and Italy. It is a curiosity, Ali, that 3 of the Norway players, 2 starters and a sub, all have fathers who played in those games in that World Cup for Norway here.
I think I've got 2 of them. I would guess Haaland.
Yes.
I'll throw Erik Torstvedt at you.
Yeah, the goalkeeper, whose son is a midfield player in the squad. And if you haven't got the other one, you plainly weren't listening to me when I read the team news earlier. Alexander Sørloth's dad, Goran, played as well. Pay attention.
I've been known to switch off when you've got that microphone in your hand, to be fair.
And I can't blame you. Pat Gay. Sneaking in the clutches of Arsnes, Idrissa Gueye. Jatta.
Oh, it's slack. It's just a lack of concentration, John. He's shaking his head. Just untidy. So is that.
To Mane. Camera. And he was looking for Jackson. Nearly ended up linking up with Mane.
Yeah, I tell you what he does do though. He anticipates the ball dropping incredibly well. Forced himself upon it.
Forward comes Ødegaard. Sander Berger. Idrissa Gueye.
It's the final ball, isn't it? It's not really get going since the hydration break, John.
Like to have an effort on target, Senegal. Their first such attempt against France in their opener came in the 40th minute. They hung on well against top quality opposition in that opening fixture. Level until the 66th minute.
Some excellent goals that beat them.
A rather good one that they scored themselves.
It was. 18-year-old, wasn't it? Youngest African to score at the World Cup, and what a goal it was too. Goalie was maybe a little bit suspect, but
Mbaye of PSG. Down goes Koulibaly. It was almost a slapstick fall.
it really was. I'm almost demanding another look at that.
Sirlot. One for Haaland to chase, but as he was turning to set sail, it smacked him on the back of the neck.
And it might have been very interesting had it not.
Jatta. A glimpse there of Ståle Solbakken in trademark pose. Haunch down. Jatta. Ismail Assar was always second favourite.
He was asking a lot, wasn't he? Just ran out of pitch.
There's Dad, Alfie Haaland. It's another curiosity that he was Haaland and Erling is Haaland.
Yeah. You'd have to explain that one to me.
Well, interestingly, or maybe not interestingly, depending your view on these things, he was asked to pronounce his name for the World Cup authorities and he said, "My name is Erling Haaland," as his father's was. But I think his people perhaps have taken a decision that he's going to be known as Haaland to the wider world, certainly beyond Norway. What he actually said was, "If you're Norwegian, call me Haaland. If you're anything else, call me Haaland."
Yeah. That's interesting.
Such is his record, you can just call him Erling and everyone will know.
Absolutely. Record is absolutely frightening, John. Honestly.
This season alone, he's played 60 games for club and country and scored 53 times.
Yeah.
Another Wolfer finding Noosa. Arsnes. Berger. Ødegaard. Pedersen. Now Ayer. Hegem. Müller-Wolfer. Antonio Nusa. Hung up for Haaland. The layoff for Ødegaard. And again, Mendy excels, dashing off his line.
The movement's magnificent, and so is the touch. Again, for the second time this opening 45 minutes, the finish not good enough. But the way Haaland drifts in between the left centre-back and the left-back is magnificent, and the layoff is perfectly weighted. He keeps it down well. Yes, it's a good save, but he should be scoring. But the big fella's been quiet, but his movement there and his layoff, just the execution once again, will disappoint Norway, but great move.
Just a couple of moments of proper clarity in this game, and both have come from the Norwegians.
Correct. And both probably deserve better finishes, John.
Jackson. Mane. Ready to go to the line and to fire it into the perfect area.
Oh, screaming for a tap-in, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, that'd been the other end, the big fella would have been on that.
Idrissa Gueye.
This is Haaland's chance. I mean, that's the centre forward of Haaland's chance. That they just don't have empty in the box. Jackson's not there, but beautiful layoff. Takes the touch. The touch is it's perfect for him to hit in the half volley, which he does. He takes in his chest and then just hits it coming off the ground. There, keeps it down. That's a good save, but again, should be 1-0.
Norway qualify if they win this evening. And here once more is their skipper Ødegaard, finding Sander Berger. Now Marcus Holmgren Pedersen. Berger. Another ball into an ideal zone.
I'm dying to see where he was there, because he normally just drifts back off, doesn't he? Nah, he's just too far out for him. Excellent cross.
Berger. Aursnes. Hegem. Christopher Ayer. Nusa. Ayer's continued his dash. Here's Haaland with a mere touch. Ødegaard battling through.
Juve does well. Left back position.
Whistle goes for a free kick in Senegal's favour. Physical Sirlot. Mane. Camera weighing it up.
It was optimistic from camera, wasn't it?
Aursnes. Nusa. Ødegaard. It's near Kate that stood up tall.
That looked a better straight from Odegaard. And a good block.
Mane. Haaland. Musa. Auersnes. Ødegaard. Sørloth. Martin Ødegaard. Poor ball. Problems here. Pedersen scores. The man that came off the bench bags his first international goal. Senegal entirely comfortable.
Oh, without doubt. Absolutely without doubt, John. It's a lovely ball into Odegaard at the start of the move. He tries to find Haaland, which he doesn't do. But that man in your picture right now, wow, Koulibaly makes a complete mess of it. And the substitute is only too pleased to take the chance that comes his way. Don't know what he's thinking about. Albeit it's come from a mistake, but you can't say they've not deserved it. There's the pass there. Really poor. Takes a touch, finishes it well, keeps it low. Goalkeeper, should he do better? Yes, without doubt. Absolutely without doubt he should. Two mistakes, but the big one is from the centre-back, Koulibaly. Goalkeeper's got to be saving that, John.
Two really experienced players in Mendy and Koulibaly, both formerly of Chelsea. And Marcus Pedersen scores his first goal for Norway and just the 6th of his entire career in 244 senior games.
Norway goal scored by number 16, Marcus Pedersen.
Well, and chances created, they deserve it. I don't think there's any doubt. Odegaard themselves had two fabulous chances to score. John should have scored at least one of them, hasn't.
Ødegaard. Significant numbers here for Norway. He sent the ball one way and Haaland went the other.
Oh, he goes the wrong way. He goes the wrong way.
Given up by Hegem. Jackson. Another Wolfer.
The fourth official on the sideline has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes added to the first half. 4 minutes.
What a chance that was to make it 2, John. Odegaard picks the wrong pass.
Diouf. Jatta. And now Power in the shot on the turn. No purchase really, and Neelan not troubled.
He just tries to keep it going, doesn't he? Gets his foot across the defender there, just behind him. It's an awkward one for Sarr. Getting back to the chance with Odegaard. He tries to find Haaland, but believe it or not, I think with Muller-Wolfer was on the left-hand side. That was the pass all day.
25th goal that we've seen by a substitute at this World Cup. And in the whole of the group stage in Qatar, there are only 23 in total.
There's been some early ones as well from substitutes that have come on.
Idrissa Gueye. Jetta. Sarr. Add to the goalkeeper's embarrassment, I fear.
Yes. He's got to save that, he really has. They don't look too perturbed about the situation. That man makes the initial error, Koulibaly. Goalkeeper should have helped him. Well, here we go.
And now the goalkeeper's in a mess!
Oh my goodness.
Haaland hits the post!
My goodness me.
And so sloppy was Senegal there, they almost deserved to concede. Auschness. Haaland!
I don't know why he hits it first time. Well, that's a great header. Really aggressive, gets up, back post, puts it down. Better save. Just bouncing just before him. But look at this. Just take another touch. You giving advice to somebody that's got 57 international goals and 51 caps, but he should have just taken another touch.
You've got your European golden boot, haven't you?
Yes. Oh, dear me. Because if he takes a touch, he's round he's away from the goalkeeper.
Well, there is the whistle for half-time. Quick thought, Ali?
Yeah, better team ahead at half-time. Missed a couple of chances with Odegaard. They get the goal through a couple of mistakes, but for me, well deserved.
It is one, could have been four. Patrick Vieira, Emma Hayes, Juan Mata upcoming with their thoughts and analysis on the first half here in New Jersey. Half-time score, Norway 1,
Really,
Senegal 0.
after 2 wins, the first time that the USA have won their first 2 matches at a World Cup since 1930, that the whole country is feeling like this. And actually, the question of can the USA win the World Cup is not as wild as it maybe seemed a couple of weeks ago. There's Paul Tenorio's match piece on The Athletic as well, which goes with a very similar theme of people believing in what Mauricio Pochettino is doing at the moment. 2 different questions though, aren't they? Can they win the World Cup and will they? What do you think?
What I would say is irrational confidence can be useful.
Is that a confidence?
That's a head coach answer, is it, at the press conference? That's good.
They of course, it's not out of the realms of possibility, but it would be pretty much unprecedented in the entire history of the World Cup for a team of the United States quality to actually go and win it. What we have seen in recent tournaments is teams like this, particularly when they're the host nation, go on a bit of a run and get to a quarterfinal, maybe even get to a semi-final if the bracket breaks right. That's probably their limit. But what we're seeing right now is the foundation for something like that to potentially happen, because they need the momentum, they need the feel-good factor, they need the United States public to engage with this team, which already looks like it's happening. And I think they've done a really good job over the first 2 games. They were expected to win both, but they've taken care of their business in really convincing fashion. without Pulisic against Australia. So they're in a strong position now to continue building and carry some real momentum into the knockouts.
Yeah, Liam Tharm, I mean, no Pulisic, and to still be able to win fairly comfortably against an Australia team who'd had a pretty impressive result in their first game against Turkey, that gives confidence. And there's a real joy to it all, it seems, as well. It comes through every time we hear from Henry that everyone seems to be enjoying this journey, even though it's only 2 matches so far. And the fact that everything is coming together, like he repeatedly keeps saying at this moment, is important.
Yeah, there wasn't a big Christian Pulisic-shaped hole in the attack, which is a big compliment. You can think of, I think for any top nation, you take out their best player, they're going to struggle a bit, and it's how you kind of adapt around that. I think Balogun played a really important role again, and obviously sets up the opening goal, but also that kind of channel running, that kind of wide play, playing kind of a front two with Pepe was, I think, not quite as effective as they would be with Pulisic there in a number 10 role, but as a good alternative. You know, it worked. We do have to point out that they scored quite early again, another own goal. I think they're the first team in World Cup history to have opponents score own goals in 2 games in a row.
Right?
That's a good up to one. Feel bad for whoever's had to code that. That's a lot of work.
They perfected the art of the irresistible cutback, haven't they, for an opposition defender
from that left-hand side. But look, that also helps. You want to score the first goal. Generally in tournaments, the team that scores first wins at an even higher rate than in kind of league football. And I think it will now also be an interesting test against Turkey in the knockout rounds if the game is 0-0 at half-time or deeper in the game, how they then find solutions where they don't have the lead to kind of sit back on.
There is a real strength in depth to them, though, isn't there, when you look at the squad? I mean, there's players like Brendan Aronson, Timothy Weah not getting many minutes, and you know, a lot of teams in this competition would need them in their first 11, and the USA M&T haven't needed them.
Yeah, and you saw Gio Reyna, I think, come off the bench in the first game to score, and he's pretty much a late sub at the moment. I think this is the strongest squad they've ever brought to a major tournament, certainly a World Cup.
You don't remember 1930?
I mean, I think it's more than half the squad play in Europe.
Okay.
Which is a good metric for, not a perfect one, but a good metric for how strong this squad is. And they've got good top-end talent. I think particularly when you're talking about someone like Balogun, he already feels like he could have the biggest reputation boost from a tournament like this. The way he started the first 2 games, not just his goals, but the way he's leading the line for this team is really, really impressive. So yeah, they're a strong team. I think they've also got one of the better coaches in the tournament in Pochettino, and that's important too. So they've got all the ingredients to make some real noise.
The point about players in Europe's a really important one. Obviously, one is a reflection of their quality, but 2, what we've heard from kind of Pochettino and I think a lot of our US writers and colleagues here is that they didn't have all the players they needed at the right times in the camps. Players were injured or it wasn't the right time, that obviously having to go transatlantic all the time to play a couple games against sometimes low-level CONCACAF opposition isn't the perfect prep. And people are saying, wait, be patient. You know, they lost friendlies or they had bad games and they went, it's going to come together when it needs to come together. And to their credit, we are seeing that now.
Yeah, at the perfect time as well. It's nice when a plan comes together like this. I mean, in terms of the sport, soccer, football in the USA, it's been a question, it seems, for a long time about how well established it can be, how well established it is now. How do you see it? I mean, what do you think a run to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals even could do for the sport in the USA?
Yeah, I think it can be a punctuation point on trends that have been happening over the last few years. I mean, one thing you have to say about the United States, there's always a lot of sport competing for attention at any one time. And soccer has had to cope with that as it's been building through MLS, through Premier League clubs touring there every single summer. I know from going to the Club World Cup last year with Chelsea and covering pre-season there before, just how many more people are tracking the Premier League as well as the domestic league over there. But major tournaments, these meaningful games happening on your soil, I think just have a different level of impact. And if the host nation is playing as well as the United States clearly are right now, sorry, one of 3 host nations, but
they're all doing well,
you know,
yeah.
It can definitely help. Americans love a winner, and there are already signs from the TV ratings, I believe, in the United States that the first 2 games have done really well.
Yeah, it is a bit of a moment. I mean, I was reading a report before we started recording from Fox Sports from back in January where they said that a recent poll had said that it was now the 3rd biggest sport in America in terms of, I think 10% of the country said that soccer was their favourite sport, and there was only now basketball and American football that was more popular than it.
Above baseball.
Yeah,
Wow.
in that survey.
America's game once, they called it.
Yeah. So that shows you it's not just about what it can be, it's actually what it is.
Yeah, I think one of the big challenges, and I kind of see the other side of this, I cover quite a bit of athletics, is kind of the development pipeline and the role that academies play, and the kind of collegiate system that you get collegiate players going into MLB, NBA, NFL, into track. They're basically kind of going in at what is effectively professional level. It's what we have over here in the UK in terms of academy systems. That's their, NCAA collegiate system. I don't think football quite has that same pipeline. So you do get players coming over, I think, earlier to Europe to kind of just accelerate their development, to train in the clubs that are over here because they're just at a high level. And that's hard because that's also a culture thing. You just can't be good at every single sport in the world. So I think
Can they not?
Well, they'll try to be, but I think you probably just can't. And people have also said that so many of their sports are throwing sports generally. It's hand sports. It's not, football's very unique in a sport that's dominantly played with the feet. If you don't grow up, and I think Pochettino said this, kind of if you don't grow up with the ball at your feet and you only start doing that kind of at age 10, age 12, you're just a few years behind in your development. And that is going to count against you. And that's not kind of anyone's fault. That's just how it's been done over there.
You've both mentioned Pochettino. He's obviously absolutely key to this. There was an interesting article from Michael Cox before the tournament about the big name managers that are in international football, and this tournament in particular. It feels like they've all been sucked that way, doesn't it? You obviously worked with Mauricio Pochettino when you were covering Chelsea when he was there. Did you see him being a natural for this sort of role?
Well, I think when you look at the things that are valuable in international football, yes, you have to get the tactics right and the details on the pitch, but it's just as much about building an atmosphere. We've seen Thomas Tuchel talk about this with England a lot. Get the right blend of personalities, create a positive feeling in a camp. And I think, albeit at club level, that's always been one of Pochettino's big strengths. And he did it at Chelsea as well, to be fair, in his one season there. He knows how to create a good environment. He's always talking about positive energy. We've written a lot about the lemons. I don't know how many lemons there are in the United States camp right now.
Syracuse or somewhere, yeah.
But he's clearly managed that. You can see the way the United States are playing. Everyone's having fun. Of course, it's easy when you're winning, but they carried that feeling into the first game, and I think that really helped them start the way that they did. And he makes sure his teams play with energy as well, and harness the energy that happens from major points in the matches. So I it's not a surprise to me that he's proving quite well cut out for international football.
Yeah, you mentioned the press there, and when you sort of look at Pochettino's Premier League teams, Liam Tharm, I'm not doing the Liams very well here. I'm just looking at you. But when you look at sort of the style that he had, certainly his early days in the Premier League with Spurs, and before that Southampton, there was energy, there was high pressing style as well. He brought that sort of straight away to English football. Do you see that in this USA team? Is it a similar sort of vibe that they're playing with?
Yeah, I think there's similar kind of principles, and there were definitely that against Australia, who were playing short and kind of let them do that. They were trying to go man-to-man a lot, which makes a lot of sense because they've got kind of speed in that front line. It's also a simpler way to press at international level where you've got less time to coach a kind of complex pressing structure.
That's quite a crucial point, isn't it?
I think so. But look, he had big decisions to make in terms of his kind of shape, in terms of his approach before the tournament. People weren't sure who was going to be the goalkeeper, who the centre-backs were going to be, how many centre-backs. And he settled on the 3-4-3, and I don't mean to scare you as a Manchester United adjacent person with chat about the 3-4-3, but it's working really, really well. Promise you it can work as a system.
Good.
It's not inherently kind of flawed. And they were really good against Australia at basically manipulating the wing-backs who, and I've done a tactics piece on this if people want to go on site and kind of see it visualised, but the simple part was the wing-backs were jumping out really early to effectively the US wing-backs, and it made space in behind for those kind of channel runs. We see it from Balogun for the goal where he spins the centre-back, isolates the centre-back out wide, gets into the box, and Weston McKennie was doing the same down the right as a midfielder, basically making those same darts diagonally, working really well with Serginho Dest. I think that's been really, really effective. We've seen, as Lee mentioned earlier, about kind of the cutback down the left and the good moves against Paraguay when Pulisic was there, and you kind of could get him on the ball and into those spaces. So it's really well balanced and a good team out wide.
We've done a great job here of building them up. So we need to ask the question: do you think they could win it? How far do you think they could go?
No, I think last 8 is probably a realistic ambition for them. I mean, semi-final would be an incredible achievement, I think, for this team. I would say round of 16, given the way that they've started this group stage. I must confess, I'm not on top of how the bracket is continually evolving.
I
as
am.
all these.
I
All
can
right,
help you there. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're going to go to California on July the 1st to play one of the third place teams. Obviously, we don't know that yet. There's way more games to be played. And the winner of that goes to Seattle 5 days later in the round of 16. The potential, or the team they'll most likely play, and the same kind of side of that, is the winner of Group G, which is the group that features New Zealand, Iran, Belgium, and Egypt, who are all level on 1 point at the time of recording. So that could quite literally still be anyone.
Yeah.
So there's a few different interesting matchups for various reasons there. And I think, they haven't won, a knockout game at a World Cup, Men's World Cup, since 2002, I think. Does it go that far back? So I think kind of akin to England a few years ago under Gareth Southgate, was kind of the aim is just win one to start with. Kind of don't get too carried away going, how deep can we go?
It's not a bad route, that, though, is it, really?
No, it's not. It's not at all.
Interesting. One to keep an eye on.
Well, and staying on the West Coast is good for them as well, because we all know how big America is as a country, and having to travel around it in between games is not ideal. So,
and staying in America, because if you don't top your group, there's a good chance you end up anywhere.
Yeah, and I think
just Canada or Mexico, not anywhere, but yeah.
If they get to play in Seattle again as well, we know Seattle's a soccer mad city, and that's a big home advantage for them.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Right, moving in then to Group C. We'll hear from James Horncastle shortly, who was at Brazil's win in Philadelphia. But Scotland, of course, no longer top of Group C. Beaten 1-0 by Morocco, the Bayern Munich-bound Ismail Saibari with his second goal of the tournament. And after 70 seconds as well, Liam Toomey, the earliest ever winning goal in World Cup history.
Wow, that's a good stat. Yeah, poor Grant Hanley. You make one mistake in the first 2 minutes of the game, not stepping up quite as quickly as you need to, and it was punished brilliantly. Saibari's now got 2 goals in this tournament, and they're 2 of the best finishes I think that anyone's produced. I was quite disappointed watching the rest of this game in the way that that Morocco kind of approached it, because I felt that they were maybe slightly too cautious. First 20 minutes they could have put Scotland away, but beyond that, I felt that they sank into their shell a bit too much. And then it was also frustrating because you just saw how limited Scotland were in those circumstances. I think they had a lot of the ball. They were allowed to have a lot of the ball. I couldn't help watching it thinking, I really wish Billy Gilmore was here.
Yeah.
Because they have guys in midfield like John McGinn and Scott McTominay, who I like, who are powerful runners and can arrive in the box, but you need someone deeper to knit it all together and give people the ball in the right positions. And the fact that he's not there, they don't have anyone else of that profile. So they really struggled for any kind of cutting edge for the rest of the game.
Adelante.
Una disculpa. Tú sabes que te quiero. ¿Qué pasa? Oh, wow. ¿Qué está sucediendo? Pero me haces feliz.
Some of the stories of the Scotland fans over in America and Chicago in particular have been absolutely fantastic. I've been laughing a lot at some of the tales that I've been hearing, but you worry now, don't you, that those fans might not be over in the USA that much longer, because this result now leaves them vulnerable with Brazil to face next.
Yeah, there definitely feels like there's some pressure. I think there's always a lot of intensity around Scotland playing. I don't know if it always kind of helps them where, so many fans travel, they're so kind of intense and supportive. But I remember going back to the last Euros when they played Germany in the first game. I think it was Andy Robertson, I can't remember exactly who it was, who celebrated.
In qualifying, 100% record. One of the significant reasons why Italy aren't at this World Cup. The 4-time champions not here. Norway beat them 3-0 in Oslo and 4-1 in Milan in the San Siro.
Absolutely.
Sherlock. Duel for Koulibaly to win against Haaland.
My wee ex-teammate Gattuso as well. Italy, big disappointment for them, wasn't it? Massive disappointment for them. No change to the Norway shape, John, just a kind of like for like, looking at Berg's position in there.
Berg, part of the Bodo Glimt side that so captivated us during the Champions League campaign just gone. Reaching the round of 16. And embarrassing some big names of the European game along the way.
Particularly at home. Some unbelievable scouts at home.
Near Kate. Stolen away by Hegem. Ødegaard. Options either side. He's threaded it through for Erling Haaland. And when you thread it through as accurately as that, you tend to know what's going to happen next.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm sitting watching that whole thing unfold, and I'm thinking the centre forward should probably go the other way to allow the space, but such is his desire to be the man to score the goal, that's why he goes there. It's amazing to watch, you know. It really is. Because while you're doing the commentary, you're watching me and I'm pointing to the inside left channel, thinking it's anybody's run but Haaland's. But he just wants to score. He needs to score. He has to score. And he does score. I'm thinking to myself he should go to the right-hand side, honestly, and let Noosa through there. But look at that. Koulibaly goes to ground again. The finish, it's a brilliant finish, you know. He just lifts it high. Goalkeeper Mendy gets a hand to it, left hand to it. Nothing he can do about that. That's an excellent finish.
And in so doing, Erling Haaland already has established himself as Norway's all-time leading goalscorer at World Cups.
And what it gives is a true reflection in the game.
The 1,000-yard stairs in evidence from Koulibaly and co, but it's utter joy for Haaland. 2 in the opening game against Iraq, backed up by another here. On another day at this World Cup, when the great goal scorers have stepped forward to strut their stuff.
Not half. And the thing about him as well, at half-time, he has completely forgotten about that one he's hit the post with, you know. That's complete fish and chip paper, that's yesterday's news. He's forgotten about that already. He's just thinking about his next chance.
54 goals for the season for club and country. And I'm sorry, I'm stepping on your toes here with a few Norway stats, but 58 international goals in 52 appearances.
Oh, man's a machine.
And with France having won and qualified already today, Norway in pole position to do exactly the same, ahead of their meeting in Boston on Friday.
Should be a good game, that.
Chatter. Camera. Near Kate. Chatter. Jackson.
Good cross, good delivery. I'm just wondering, I think he's attempted to put it back where it came from, up far post, because that's where he put it. Just doesn't get enough direction on it. Yeah, it's a comfortable save for Nealon. He should be directing that back across the goal towards the far post there.
Pap Gay. Griffin Jatta. Idrissa Gueye. Jatta. Camera. Noosa to Haaland. Mane. Pape Gueye, Idrissa Gueye. That's a better move. Now, we're back in business. And Ismaila Sarr will carry the ball all the way back to the halfway line. Because time is of the essence for Senegal. They've found a route back into this contest.
Well, they needed something, didn't they? And that man's given us it. He does exceptionally well, because I thought Muller-Wolfer was just about to hold him off. This is a lovely ball inside. And he plays it very shortly coming in here. And he comes in the outside. This ball there, lovely one round the corner. Muller-Wolfer should have tucked in. He's too wide. That said, excellent strength and an excellent finish. The left back will be disappointed, because he should have tucked in there. He shouldn't have allowed him on the inside, but once he does get the inside, Ismaila Sarr, excellent finish, and boy did they need it.
And a couple of changes in the wake of that. Ismail Jacobs comes on in place of El Malik Diouf. Gueye has gone off to be replaced by the 18-year-old Mbaye from PSG. Who looks a proper star in the making. Just when Norway appeared to be reaching the point where they were home and hosed, they need to be a little more attentive again.
Certainly a great start to the second half from our point of view.
No complaints at all. Another goal to the impressive tally of Ismaila Sarr, having bagged 21 for Crystal Palace across all competitions this past season.
Well, we've got time for another Norwegian fact. It's 12 competitive games in a row that Haaland has scored. Incredible.
The rockets just keep on coming. Here's Mbaye, though, for Senegal. And Camera.
They should do better, shouldn't they? It's not the easiest one to take. They should be handling it better than that. Isn't it amazing how quickly a game can flip? I mean, for all intents and purposes, that second goal goes in, and the Norwegians were in absolute cruise control.
As things stand, Norway may yet live to regret some of those first half misses. Indeed, the saves that they allowed Edouard Mendy to make. Chances that probably they should have buried. Sunderberger. Sørloth. Pedersen. Aya. Once more, Alexander Sørloth. Pedersen. Noosa arriving. Bear getting there. Haaland! Goals more or less made to order. Time after time after time, the darling of the Norwegian haunts delivers.
Man's a machine, simple as. Sadio Mane, very disappointing. Switches off completely with Pedersen. I'd be so disappointed if I was his teammate. We'll get another look at it. I might be harsh, but I don't think I am. Let's get back to the finish. You just know when it's coming in. A, he's going to be the end of it, and B, there's Mane, switches off there. He's lazy. Here he comes. Look, you can't believe he's getting another bite of the cherry. Right foot this time, directs it towards the goal, and off the underside of the bar. The referee had the best view in the house of it. Just prior to the camera angle we saw, John, I watched Sadio Mane, and he switches off. He thinks about going back with Pedersen, and then there's just a little bit of laziness, and that's what causes the problem.
Senegal aghast. They just hauled themselves back. And now Haaland has snatched it away from them again. There is a delay here because of an injury to the Senegal goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy. Prolonged treatment for him. So today at the World Cup, Messi's done his stuff to become the all-time record goal scorer. And then Mbappe has responded in kind with a brace to move within 2 of Messi all-time. And now the great Norwegian centre-forward Haaland has got a brace as well.
Well, the big boys are turning up, aren't they? It's the greatest stage for the greatest players. He just redirects that. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, one question. Where did the genes come from to become a great goal scorer? Because that's one thing that Alfie Haaland was never.
No. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. If MD deserves to celebrate that goal more than most, it's his old man, isn't it?
Just sheer delight for Norway, who stand, if they win tonight, to have won as many games at this World Cup as they've won in their previous 3 World Cup appearances put together. Still they tend to Edouard Mendy. It's the view from Wilton Sampao, the referee's camera.
Not only has he scored in his last 12 competitive matches, he's got 24 in them. What do I think about that? It's remarkable.
Does that deserve the word phenomenal?
Oh, without doubt. It does in my book.
And he got 16 in the World Cup qualifiers alone. He scored in all 8 qualification games to book Norway's place at his first ever major tournament. Still tidying up a few loose ends from earlier on. And at that point, there seemed to be a substantial lifeline for Senegal.
Bad news for the goalkeeper.
Edouard Mendy is sadly unable to continue. was particularly unsteady. So what a way to spend your 33rd birthday. Mori Jiao, the reserve goalkeeper, is going to win only his 6th cap. Tallest player in the squad at 6'6", plays for Le Havre in France. One of 10 players actually born in France, and Pate Sis is also being introduced in place of Lamine Camara. Reserve goalkeepers both relatively inexperienced for Senegal. Chow has got the nod. Here's Sis. Back to your point about Alfie Haaland senior.
Yep.
34 caps and 0 goals. Junior is more than making up for that shortfall.
I bet it tells everybody they've got 59 in the family though.
It's a rather more solemn Pat Tiao now. Your brain is working overtime on the permutations from this group, with France and potentially Norway both on 6 points.
Yes.
And the other two sides, Senegal and Iraq, on 0, and you'll be desperate with your Scottish hat on for a draw in that
Exactly.
game.
It's exactly what I'm thinking.
Senegal,
I
Iraq,
can't lie to you.
Friday.
I can't lie to you. Or selfishly, a couple of more Norwegian goals from a totally unbiased position I have here in the commentary box.
Jatta. This is Mbai. One can discomfort Norway. You suspect it's him. With moments like that, which brings a corner.
Very positive from the young man again.
Towards Mane. By Musa. Back by Idrissa Gueye. This is the right back, Jatta. Sis. Rattled in for Ismail Assar.
Takes a slightly heavy touch, doesn't he? Mbai just come on that right hand side. John Sis just into the middle of the park.
Mbai. Jatta. Ødegaard. Sørloth. Ødegaard. And guess who's lurking on the edge of the box? Here's Sander Berger.
Oh, what a chance to get a shot away. Berger. He came back onto his right foot. He still dragged onto his left and let fly.
We'll run away from Mumbai. If the weather forecast locally is correct, we are about to be very well hydrated from the skies in about 3 or 4 minutes from now. Wilton Sampao has decided it is time for the players to have an official hydration break. Well, with Norway in the box seat.
Yeah, they certainly are. Dominant, they've been the better side of that, there's no doubt. Ismail Sarr gets them back into the game, Senegal. But with the greatest respect to him, Norway are dominated, could and should be further ahead but more.
Boos again for the announcement of the hydration break. If you're not done for World Cup football tonight, let me recommend to you our next offering, which comes from San Francisco, Jordan against Algeria. 4 a.m. kickoff from Levi's Stadium, ITV1 and STV. And then Portugal-Uzbekistan is an intriguing one at 5 p.m.
When the heavens open.
Substitution for Norway, I think, and Schjelderup has come on. We saw him briefly in their game, in their early game, and
Mate Sarr is about to come on for Senegal as well. I mean, yeah.
Oh, Koulibaly's gone. This is a sad sight, I think, because we might not see him again.
It's the right thing, you know. No matter the player, if you're not performing well enough, you're looking that little bit vulnerable, then coaches have to make these tough decisions. You're clearly not injured, just the head coach has decided that no, we need a little bit more speed and agility, youth, because at the moment our captain is looking extremely vulnerable. World Cup, we need to get something out of his game, absolutely, we must do. 3 points may be enough if they can win the final game, but the way that they've performed at the back, and they could be in trouble their last game as well.
So on comes the Tottenham player to replace Koulibaly, and change for Norway was Andreas Schjelderup for Nusa. And here's Berg. Long down the line, just too far ahead of the substitute. on that far side as you place Noosa shoulder up. He's a bright player, turn of pace, although his pacier days are behind him now. He's in his early 30s, plays for Benfica. Had a role in qualifying, only had the one start. He came on for 18 minutes.
Our pacier days are behind us as well, aren't they?
They are, yes. Not too sure I ever had pacier days, to be fair.
That comes to everybody, even to Haaland at some points, maybe about 10 years from now, but he won't quite be the fire starter that he is right now.
It's horrible to see that game, though, isn't it? Especially on such a big stage with a global. It's that game when you look at a player and think, that's it. He's not got that sort of a problem, we hope. He's still a young boy, and he jinked it off that right-hand touchline. Couldn't create anything there. Sarr to the far side then.
Yeah, as a player, you hope that you would recognise it in slightly more quiet surroundings. I felt it myself, as I said, when players start to go to ground unnecessarily, when they should be staying on their feet, just taking the extra yard to try and close down the opponent, it's a real sign for me.
Good spin by Mbaye, gets across into the penalty area, half met in there. Sarr again it was, partially cleared, and they're appealing for a penalty here, Senegal, and the referee's thinking about it.
He thinks it was accidental, and that was my initial thought.
It's on a Wolfer, isn't it?
Yeah, and Idrissa Gana Gueye, who came together. It looked as if he almost wrapped his arm around it, but it was hard to see whether it was really deliberate. The shot comes in, the ball comes in, no, that's not a foul. That's accidental.
Well, Idrissa Gueye's gone down holding his throat area. A bearded Everton veteran, where now the contract finished in the summer.
He was caught, but not deliberate, as far as I'm concerned. Muller Wolf is going one way back towards his own goal. Idrissa Gana Gueye is almost trying to shield the ball and turn his body, heading out towards a penalty area, and it was obvious that they were going to collide. But Muller Wolf actually gets his head on the ball, albeit inadvertently. He was certainly trying to do that. Does it come off his shoulder or the shoulder of Idrissa Gana Gueye? That angle where we're seeing the replay is not conclusive at all, but I think the referee's made the right call, just accidental. I'm not sure if he's given a corner or a goal kick. Looks like a goal kick.
Well, he's gesturing something. I think he's gesturing for them to get on with the goal kick. Nolan Newland will take it. Players only have the allotted time now to take the goal kicks, the throw-ins. The throw-in thing has been terrific.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, it's now become sort of second nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not even noticing it. They're hurrying them up and they're getting on with it, otherwise deemed a foul throw.
It'd be nice if they're bringing that into league football, wouldn't it? Domestic football for the new season. I've not heard anything to say that they will do. Let's hope.
One or two lessons can be learnt from this. Here's Idrissa Gueye spreading the play, lovely ball pinged out to Mane between the box and the left-hand touch and brought it down neatly enough. Now let's get the cross towards the far post. It's headed up and away by Sheldrup. Comes to the edge of the penalty area. Sarr. Now Gueye towards the right-hand touchline, and Mbaye tenacious. He lost the ball first of all, won it back again. Bit of a scamper. And Gueye with a cross to the edge of the penalty, or a chip to the edge of the penalty area, I should say. Blocked, and Norway counter on 5 Live from the BBC, where I think it's about 2:30 in UK time. And a very, very strange evening. The French game against Iraq was delayed for a long while because of a lightning storm in the area within 8 miles of the ground. And if there is a lightning strike anywhere within those 8 miles, from the moment of the last strike, they have to wait half an hour before they let the fans back into the ground. That's nothing to do with FIFA, by the way. That's, I think, US law. Now here come Norway back, drives forward. Holland took a tumble, and Berg finds that left-hand touchline, and Sheldrup gives it back to him. Senegal hard pressed, and they will need to beat Iraq in their last game. You would have felt to have any chance of going through as the best third-place team, but every goal Norway score will impact on that. Their goal difference is now -4, and 3 points with a -4 goal difference might not get you in.
No, that's a tall order.
The original estimate or guesstimate was a -1 goal difference on 3. There he is, Ståle Solbakken. Only 18% of Norwegian fans wanted him to stay on after they lost against Austria back in October 24. They lost by 5 goals to 1. But he has been successful. He wasn't successful at Wolves, you remember. He took over when they were in the Championship, couldn't continue their elevation back up. And they nearly presented a goal there to Erling Haaland again. And it's a poor ball out from the back for Senegal. They've passed the ball very poorly at times. And here's a scampering Patrick Berg releasing to Ødegaard. Ødegaard tried a 1-2 with Haaland, and he's knocked off the ball as he went for the return by Papsar.
Didn't do a lot really, Pat Matej half turned his body, but Ødegaard bought that one off the referee. It's a long way out. I don't think anybody's going to be shooting from goal from here. It's 40 yards, quite central. He's just looking to clip this one towards the left side of the Senegalese penalty area and get that header back across the face of goal. Christopher Ajer, you'd imagine, will be the target. Haaland will be looking to get on the end of it for his hat-trick.
Free kick for Norway. They lead by 3 goals to 1. We have 11 minutes to go. It's plumb dead centre. You're talking 30, more than 30. These double penalty areas. He's about 40 yards out. 40 yards, left foot hooked cross into the penalty area, goes all the way through and out of play for a goal kick. You'll be disappointed with that.
Yeah, that was the attempt, wasn't it, to clip the ball towards Christopher Ajer. A little bit too much curl on it, actually, from the Arsenal captain.
So a goal kick, and it's rolled away by the substitute goalkeeper Mori Chow. And towards the left side centre-back position, Musa Niakate on the edge of his own penalty area.
Norway haven't done anything brilliant in this game. What they haven't done is made the mistakes, and especially in terms of ball retention in the middle of the park. They've not been caught out, they've not been exposed on the counter-attack. Senegal have pace in the final third. Mane, Sarr and Jackson. They've not allowed that back four to have to face up to this cross to come in.
Jacobs with the cross into the penalty area, cleared away.
That's not a good strike.
And Papsar skied it way over the bar. Last start at club level was back in March. Looked a little bit rusty there, his first minutes in these finals.
You're getting the basics right, so certainly a way for you to progress far in this tournament. Sander Berge has provided a nice screen in front of the back four. Ødegaard has done most of his work going forward, of course, but Arsenal in the first half, and since then they've made one or two of the substitutions which have just given up a little bit of extra protection, but in truth they've not been overly troubled defensively.
Ajer comfortable enough there, he's been pulled back as well. Looks to the referee, flaps his arms up and down as if to say to the referee, why didn't you blow? And indeed they're continuing that discussion now with Sander Berge having a word with the referee. It's a night for Norwegian fans, young and old, in this stadium. We're seeing here pictures on the giant screens, and they've just seen themselves on the giant screens as well. They've got a slight problem here. One of their players has got a bit of a knot. It's Torbjørn Hegem, the centre-back partner for Ajer, who signalled to the bench. And they're not going to take any chances, not with the group decided to come against France on Friday. Here's Andreas Schelderer between the box and the left-hand touchline. Into the edge of this D, Ødegaard drags his foot back on the ball. Scampers away to the right-hand side, releases to Marcus Pedersen, who scored the first goal, and that hoisted straight through into the hands of Mori Jot. Started off at PSG a long while back now, the 32-year-old goalkeeper.
There's Berge just mopping up again right in front of his back four. Always available for the pass from a teammate who may be in trouble. His positioning is always pretty good. He doesn't get too many plaudits as the Fulham man.
Sadio Mane arcs the cross, and it's a brilliant effort effort and an overhead. It comes loose. Jackson can't finish it. Yeah, I think he was offside anyway.
Yeah, had to be.
But a brilliant attempt at the overhead. Was it Sarr in the middle? Ismail Sarr, I think it was.
It was Sadio Mane with a great piece of play on this near side. He skips past the Norwegian play and then he delivers a wonderful ball, and that's a very acrobatic attempt from Ismail Sarr, asking a lot of himself. He made a decent connection. Actually comes off. It comes off the hand of Norwegian defender David Muller-Wolf.
And the hand was in an unnatural position.
I think VAR should be looking at that.
Because it deflected the overhead down. It was goal bound.
It was close to him, very close to him, just a yard away, but I'd be surprised if VAR are not checking that. They should be, really.
Jackson was in an offside position as he tried to finish. Norway are going to make 2 substitutions. Østegård, who came off the bench in the first game and scored centre-half, will replace Hegem. And Oscar Bob will come on also for Norway. A little bit of concern there on the face of Hegem as he went off the field of play. Any muscular injury now, they've got so little time to recover.
Yeah. Proximity to the player, I think, would have saved David Muller-Wolf there. She was trying to wrestle Ismail Sarr off the ball, so as a result of that, he was so close and it's inevitably been able to get away with it. But a further yard or so away, then you'll certainly be looking at that on the replay.
I'll tell you what, you wouldn't argue with Leo Østegård, would you? He's a big 6-footer, shaven-headed. He's coming at the heart of the defence. They've got another. Is that Pedersen? Is that all they're doing the rowing in the stand? Listen to this. He's the Norwegian fans doing the Viking row. And we're seeing pictures of them doing it up on the giant scoreboard. And the stewards look absolutely perplexed. I'm not too sure they can work out what's going on here. 10,000 Vikings. There was a time when the sight of 10,000 Vikings would have feared you with absolute terror. Northumberland and all down the coast of a fledgling England before it became an England, really, a united England. But these are happy Vikings, and the only plunder they want is points.
Goals, yeah.
Goals and points. Oscar Bob came on for Sorlock, by the way. I think that's part of the conundrum they're going to have to solve. And they've just got Haaland up top now. And they conceded a free kick.
That was a good run from Ibrahim Bay. Young kid, you know, has to be given his wings. Sadio Mane's had a quiet night, but just been a couple of occasions where he's shown that he's still got that turn of pace. As I said, he can't repeat it 5 or 6 times a match, but once the game gets a little bit stretched, as I said, he skipped past a couple of Norwegian players and put in a delightful cross a few minutes ago for that overhead kick from Ismail Sarr. The number 10 has still got a little bit of life left in him.
4 minutes to go on 5 Live. Norway leading 3-1. He comes across, headed away powerfully, just outside the 6-yard area. I think it was where was it? Who's gone down now? He's limping as he's picked himself off the ground. Here's Mane between the box and the left-hand touchline. His cross is side-footed, cleared by Leo Østegård, and Norway will get it out now. And Ayers picked himself up now, and he's trotting away, shoulder up inside the Norwegian half. Still tried to find his captain. He's gobbled up. Sarr for Senegal. Tame pass. It was nothing. It was betwixt and between.
Oh, that was limp, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That's the good word for it. As he tried to find Sadio Mane. Now here's Oscar Bob, who's coming on the right-hand side. Oslo-born. Fulham player, of course, these days, having moved from Manchester City. He had his injury problems, hasn't he, over the last couple of years. Broke his leg in summer of 24. Had a thigh injury. Having started out anew at Fulham. Here's Sanderberg. He's just really has quietly gone about his business. Odegaard tries a big expansive ball around the corner, partially cleared, halfway line. Berger's done well since he came on, as Norway lead 3-1. To the left-hand touchline, Sheldrup's across there. Holland Wolf made a disguised run. There's a disguised ball to Haaland inside the penalty area.
Great
and it's
block.
blocked back there. Good block. Very good block by Moussinier Karte. But then he and Idrissa Gueye, I think, with a meat and a sandwich, just in came Sander Berger with a rambunctious type of a challenge.
I've seen a chance from Haaland again. He makes a great run, and that ball is headed for the goal, but it's a great block from Karte.
Again, he could have had 3.
He might get 3 against France.
Well, that would be a story, wouldn't it?
Shootout between himself and Kylian Mbappe. Both nations have 6 points, so they'll be feeling pretty good about the last game. And I'd be amazed if they're not quite a few changes actually from both coaches. Didier Deschamps have the great opportunities to rest quite a few players. Mbappe probably won't be rested because he'll be thinking about golden boots. And certainly the likes of Ryan Cherky, Chouameni, who didn't start the game today. I'm not sure if he came on at all, and quite a few others will be hoping for some action.
They've got some strength.
Yeah,
they've got
so much.
I think they've got the strongest squad here, and along with England, I'd say, and I do think of Spain in that as well, and I do think of Argentina in that as well. But I've looked at the whole draw today, worked it all out. Who's going to be where? Do it every time in the World Cup at this stage. And I think Dotton said earlier on in the evening he's gone for a France-Argentina final. I have as well. Hope England are there. Love Scotland to be there. This is a lovely run by Sheldrup into the box. Little dink square, partially clear, comes back to Bob. He's hammered it. It's gone over the bar. A hand was raised as it cleared it over the bar. I can only assume it was the goalkeeper, Maury Joe, because there's no appeals.
It might have been Path Cease, actually, the substitute, who stood strong right on the goal line almost, as Oscar Bob fired it with venom as well, left foot. That's headed for the goal. That's a great stop.
That's his head, isn't it? It's a fantastic headed clearance away. Brilliant headed clearance off the line.
Great defending
by Sarr. It's going to be a corner kick. It was very nearly a 4. Was it Cease who got the
Path Cease, yeah,
over the bar?
Yeah, that's nice. Oscar Bob shaking his head. He can't believe it.
Really unlucky Norway not to score again. Header off the line. Going to be a corner kick to them on the left-hand side. We're into the closing moments now. Last 10 seconds of the 90. It's going to curl away. There was a brilliant run by Odegaard just a few moments ago. Came to nothing.
Played well.
Here comes across. It's headed up. It's headed over. Free kick given against Leo Ostergaard. 9 minutes to stoppage time.
I'm not sure what the referee's blown for there. Didn't seem to be any foul there. Really looking to get towards the ball. Perhaps a Sander Berger just nudging the goalkeeper, substitute goalkeeper, Maury Joe.
Sadio Mane now for Senegal. Trading by 3 goals to 1. Brushed off it by Oscar Bob.
You read that, didn't you?
Yeah. Went to cut inside and Oscar Bob easily won it. 12 years the younger man. And it showed there. And as Stefan has been saying, it's been quite sad that curtain seems to be coming down on 3 great careers in Senegalese and African football. Koulibaly's had a nightmare. Sadio Mane not been as effective as he would have dreamt of being. And Idrissa Gueye put in a great shift in there. Is at 36 not the future of Senegal. Is Ibrahim Mbaye, who very much is. Can they get another goal and make a real finale of it? Jacobs, the substitute left-back, is on the left-hand touchline, halfway inside the Norwegian half. 10 yards back at a square. To his right is Idrissa Gueye. On it goes to Pape Sarr. Mane's drifted in there now. They've just checked here. Here's Nicholas Jackson. Check the momentum. Forward to the edge of the penalty area. Mane twists and turns, tries to get a crossing. It's deflected up and cleared away. Didn't seem to be able to clear his feet quickly enough. And there's a drive from Sarr again. The goalkeeper is parried away. It was awkward because it took a deflection and it bounces out to Ismail Jacobs. Idrissa Gueye really has put in a big shift for them and has it back again. Can the little man conjure some magic right at the end? Out to Jacobs. Jacobs has possession. They trail 3-1, closing stages. Cross into the box, missed initially, and it's a chance, and they buried it. They're back in it again, are they? Ismail Assar, another one. It was missed in the air by Christopher Ayer. It was a simple header away, but he looked tired. And it fell to Ismail Assar, and he's buried it. It's 3-2 from nowhere.
Well, he kept his composure, Ismail Assar. The first goal he scored, he was falling to ground, he was nudged. He just managed to sort of drag the ball on and on. With this time, it's a couple of great touches, and then just clips it over the goalkeeper. Yeah, completely unmarked in the box, as you said. They don't clear their lines properly, the Norwegian defence. And a lovely touch from Nicholas Jackson into the path of Ismail Assar, 8 yards out, and curls it over the goalkeeper. Nice and cool.
And this is
still time.
This is what I think. This is where people say Norway have got the ability, the players, to go deep in the tournament. I just look at them defensively when they do something like that, and think if they come up against a Brazil in the round of 16, which is a possibility for them, and Brazil are on the song, and some of their big name players really hit form that day, that could be the end for them. You never know. But Ståle Solbakkens, Norway have got to sweat these last minutes of stoppage time. 6 to go. And the Norwegian Viking rowers are suddenly silenced, and the Senegalese fans are jumping up and down in the stadium. Terrific game. Goals galore yet again in these World Cup finals of 2026. 5 here today. We're over 130. I've lost count, actually, to be honest, today. And the race for the golden boot is electrifying, isn't it? Messi, Mbappe, and Haaland, and Harry Kane. England fans will hope. But they cease. Brilliant goal line clearance moments ago. What a difference that could make. Just a gay. They're looking for it, Senegal. Sadio Mane, can he conjure up something? Roll back the ears. Gay. Side foots a pass back towards the halfway line. On by Pate Sis. Gets it back again. He's in his 30s, 32 now. Jessagana Gay, 36. Out wide to Ismail Jacobs. In comes across, and it's met and cleared away.
You can't be tension, can you? The last 4 or 5 minutes again is Erling Haaland's dad sitting next to Gianfranco Infantino.
Here's Mane into the box. In comes across. It hit Patrick Berg on the flank, and he's got it away. But Norway, all of a sudden, are hanging on. They've got a player who's gone down with cramp. Maybe 1 or 2 have gone down with cramp. The treatment will be for Marcus Pedersen, and the referee is very, very clearly saying to him, if he goes on like this, he'll have to leave the field of play, and immediately he gets up.
He was struggling, to be fair to him, about 5 minutes earlier, and he went to close down. Sadio Mane sort of limped away. Leaving the pitch. He has to leave the pitch.
Has to leave the pitch. Rather daft. Nicholas Jackson's getting involved, trying to pick him up. He's surrounded by a bevy of black-clad Norwegian giants. You wouldn't go in there. He's definitely got cramp, though. He's in real pain. And he's been told by the referee to get off so he can get on with the corner kick. And Norway will defend the corner kick with 10, and Jacobs will take it. Left-footed, arcs it away from goal. Chance! Big leap in there by Pate Sis. He's fouled his man. He came. Great leap. He's left Østegård on the ground.
That was a genuine attempt for the football. I've got no problems with that at all. It's a head clash, but Pate Sis actually made a great attempt. As you said, he got up so high, didn't he? He was above Østegård, who stayed firm. Probably wasn't sure exactly what was coming in behind him.
Well, the Norwegian players were very quick to surround the referee, which is unseemly, and again we were told that the referees would have none of that.
Not every challenge like that is a foul. Great defending, determined attacking. He catches him late. It's a clean take from Østegård. Great header, actually. And actually, it wasn't as heavy a clash as I thought it was.
I think he almost pulled his head out of the challenge right at the last moment, Pate Sis, because he knew he might hurt the man. I'm not too sure what would hurt Leo Ostergaard. He looks like a villain from the future in a sci-fi movie. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. And if he comes back for me, I shall tell him it was you who said it. Big man though, isn't he? They're all big men in this Norwegian side. And how long have we had of stoppage time now as we squeeze towards the end? 7.5 minutes have gone. Senegal pressing for what would be an astonishing equaliser. Just Ghana Gay trotting forward and Norway allowing him to come. Now and by to the left-hand side. They're building up slowly here. They're waiting for a little gap to open up. Papsar. Mane nudges to the edge of the penalty area and Bai cuts in. His effort is blocked by Aya.
Almost worked an angle, didn't he? The young man just didn't quite shift it enough towards the right. Ibrahim Bai. There was a little bit of a gap there. If he'd worked it, Senegal have to keep on trying to play through the spaces because they don't have the presence, the physicality to be able to swing the crosses in and to get most of those balls into the box. They've won another corner. Norway with a back line of 6 or sometimes even 7 these last couple of minutes. Nervous anxiety from Ståle Stalbakken on the Norwegian touchline.
You can hardly see the corner taken because the Norwegian supporters like a red wall stand to obscure the vision of Ismail Jacobs with the corner kick. It's headed over. Oh, it's headed over. That's Ismail Assar again, I think.
That's barely believable. Completely unmarked inside the 6-yard, but where was the Norwegian marking? Oh, he should score. It gets over the head of the injured man, isn't it? David Muller-Wolf, who just can't get himself up. Solbakken is celebrated, isn't it, as that ball goes over for a goal kick. Muller-Wolf really couldn't jump. He's had cramp the last 4 or 5 minutes. Haaland was 2-3 yards off the man he was supposed to be marking. And just a little bit too much pace for Ismail Assar to deal with. What a hat-trick that would have been.
Would have been astonishing. We've had the 9 minutes and more of stoppage time. Another dramatic night at this World Cup tournament that has thrown up so many goals, so many exciting moments. Cape Verde, Curacao, the big names scoring, and this one isn't over yet. Might be now. Sander Berge clumps it away downfield and Norway have won it. The final whistle goes. 2 for Haaland. After Marcus Pedersen, the substitute right back, had put them 1-0 up. One of the goals for Haaland. A gift, really, on the night where one of the legends of African football, Koulibaly, might have played his last game at international football. There's an embrace for the Norwegian manager with his partner up in the stand. Senegal made a real game of it with 2 goals from Ismail Assar. He fought strongly, but not enough, and they'll be left now playing for a 3rd place. That last goal by Ismail Assar will have done them a world of good for that, by the way.
Yeah, that could make a big difference to their hopes of qualifying for the round of 32. Great game of football, as I said, at half-time, 1-0. It's not going to finish like this. We'll get more goals. We had lots of action, and it wasn't a bad first half in the end, to be honest. The last 15 or 20 minutes, but the second half was, once again, another great example of what we've seen so far at this tournament. Lots of goals, great action, quite a few mistakes, people taking advantage, and drama right up until the last few moments. Another terrific game over 90+ minutes.
Well, I think it's going to take something like a 3 or 4-0 victory for Senegal against Iraq in the last game to keep them in. Norway are through, and they are through with